Hey guys, welcome back. I hope everyone had a really good holiday. This is a PC that was given to me. They just wanted their data copied over to a flash drive, and as you can see, this is a Sempron powered Windows XP beast from Dell. It's an Inspiron 531, and she's really quite the dirty girl. Supposedly it stopped working one day and was just shoved in a closet and sat there for many years, but I'm sure I can find a creative use for it. So taking a peek inside, it's pretty obvious that this was never cleaned out. I mean, there's just gobs of dust everywhere, caked in and packed in and just layered on everything, cobwebs and all that. So I'm thinking the only way to really clean this out is to just disassemble everything, get the parts clean, and then I can find out why it won't run. With so much dust, my first suspicion is the power supply or possibly even the dust itself. If it turns out to be a dead motherboard, then at least I have some free parts out of the deal. I should really learn to work faster, huh? Anyways, this case has only one fan exhausting out the back, so the front should be the dust sucking end. And as soon as I get done disassembling the internals here, I'll pop the front cover off and we can see how bad it really is. Alright, let's get this front cover off here. Oh, and check that out. There's so much dust in here, it created its own dust filter. Fortunately, though, it doesn't look like they were smokers. That sticky dust and smoke mixture is a royal pain in the ass. Now I'm going to turn this around and try and get you guys a better shot of the mass of dust and hair and everything that's just sucked into the front here. I've seen, quite a few dusty PCs before, but this is probably up there near the top of them. And that negative pressure on that with the one exhaust fan, I mean, it just sucks dust in through every little crack and hole in this case. But anyways, it's time to start cleaning it up. I broke out the shop vac because I don't really want to blow this stuff all over my garage. I can get most of the bulk off and then I'll take it out and blow the rest out. All of these parts are going to need some soap and water because this has probably been collecting grime since 2006, 2007, whenever this computer was first sold. As you can see, the shop vac does a real nice job of getting the bulk of it off of there. Alright, back with some nice clean parts. I was able to test everything, and the issue that I had was one bad stick of RAM. I tossed the old power supply and I'm replacing it with this 450 watt Hunt Key brand. I've never heard of it before, but it's brand new, although kind of old power supply, but it has all the connectors that I'm going to need. I should probably go over the configuration here for you guys as well. This is a Dell Inspiron 531, like I said, with a socket AM2 motherboard. The CPU that came with it is an AMD Sempron 1300 LE. It's a 64-bit single-core CPU with a frequency of 2.3 GHz. It's a low-power CPU with a TDP of only 45 watts. This system also came with 4 gigs of DDR2 and a 120 GB 7200 RPM hard drive with Windows XP installed. The motherboard has onboard graphics, but I'm not going to be using those. Instead, I'm going to be installing the iconic NVIDIA GeForce 8800 GT instead. I now have a specific build in mind for this PC. I'd really like to build a Windows XP gaming rig that can actually be used, and unfortunately that means no Windows XP. Unfortunately for XP fans, you can no longer use Steam or Epic or any of the other store launchers or game stores that I'm aware of. So this PC is going to end up having Windows 10, but the hardware will all be Windows XP era. And there's a reason for going this route, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Here I end up mounting the cooler with the fan cable coming out the wrong way, so I had to just swap it around. I thought without reading the motherboard, I thought that was the CPU connector, but quickly found out it wasn't. I did replace one stick of RAM, so it's got 4 1 gig sticks of DDR2. And we're gonna, for now, we're gonna reuse this 7200 RPM hard drive as the operating system drive, and then I'll install a couple other storage drives just to have room to download and install games on. And there it is, the heart of the beast, the 8800 GT, which is, it's a pretty, it's era specific. It's definitely from Windows XP era, and it was released about the same time as this computer was from Dell. I don't have high hopes for a CPU, but we're gonna test it out anyways. Alright, she's all back together and ready to be tested. So it seems to post just fine. I obviously got to replace the battery on the motherboard, but that's just 2 seconds. Alright, and it's looks like it's attempting to start Windows. And it does, of course, eventually blue screen, but that's not a big deal because this is getting a fresh new operating system on it. And here you can see the operating system installed, CPU Z info for the CPU and the RAM. And it's the single core Sempron with only 1200 bytes of L2 cache. Alright, so I've got HW monitor open, so I keep an eye on the temps here as I test it out. And let's start with Cinebench 11.5, and not looking for a score here. Just trying to keep an eye on temps and just see where the temps are at. This is going to take a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and skip right to the end. Alright. Enough time has passed for me to go eat lunch, and now she's finally done. And yeah, the score is bad, but I was really only interested in the temperatures, the CPU temperature. And so to close this out, we'll take a good look here at where it peaked. And yeah, I mean, it's nice and cool as expected. So I decided next I want to run Cinebench R15 and just see if I can get the lowest score ever. I mean, normally you run it, you try and get your highest score, but or the highest score that's on the chart they show. But yeah, with this CPU, we're gonna see if we can get the lowest score that I've ever seen, anyways. So I'm gonna let this chug along, and then we'll check in on it at the end. Okay, it's just about done here. I'll wait for these last few squares to fill in. And there we have it. We got a 39. It's pretty impressive that you can score so low. I think I'm gonna have a really hard time beating that for lowest score. So anyways, let's get to some games. And I apologize for the glare. I mean, that's really the best I can do at the moment. But first up, we got Stalker Call of Pripyat. Settings are at medium. But we start quick and see how she runs. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty rough. Surely Fear will run much better. Graphics settings are maxed and effects are maxed, and here we go. Alright, well, I mean, doesn't seem to be too bad. I kind of expect a little more out of it, but it's running. And you can see the frame rate starting to tank here. And once you get inside, it goes up. But then we have this issue here. I mean, as soon as you get the paranormal effects and all that, you can see the CPU is just stuck at 100%, GPU at 0, and everything is just locked up. Alright, well, let's try some Far Cry. I'm in the settings menu, and you can see it's already locked up. I'm going to set everything to very high, and we're just going to send it. As soon as it lets me out of the settings here. And as you can see, I mean, it's not running good. It just keeps locking up. I mean, this is it's quite a dumpster fire here trying to play this. I mean, that's unplayable. Alright, so Far Cry did bad, so why not try Far Cry 2? We're going to crank up the settings again and just let her rip. And as you can see, I mean, this is pretty useless to even try. I mean, it's not going to work at all on here. But Flat Out is next, and if this CPU can't run flat out, I'm just going to give up. So Flat Out did extremely well, and I mean, as you can see, it's running very well. It's maintained 60 FPS, and it should, because this game actually runs on, you know, much older hardware. So yeah, this doesn't make me really any more optimistic about this Sempron. All right, let's try Flat Out 2. It's a little newer, a little more demanding than the first one, but it can run on older stuff. So let's find out. And as you can see on Flat Out 2, I mean, the CPU is pegged at 100, but I mean, it's getting 60 and, you know, dips a little below 60 every now and then. But I can definitely tell there's some input lag on it. But I mean, overall, it's not bad. Alright, so the big question everyone's been wanting to know, will it run Crysis? Well, we're about to find out. I'm going to go through the settings here. I'm going to make sure that almost all the settings are on low. And here we go. And right off the bat, yeah, you can tell this isn't going to be good at all. Frame rate's extremely low. You know, you can see it's locking up here, and I mean, holy input lag. So yeah, you can't run Crysis on a Sempron LE1300. So I didn't really expect much from the Sempron, but you know, I had to test it out and see, and you know, I mean, actually it even did a little better than I had thought it might. But anyways, let's go see if we can kill some people here in Crisis. Alright, so it was never my intention to use this Sempron. I mean, they're just horrible CPUs that were loved by OEMs. I have here an Athlon 64 X2 6000 plus. It's a 3 GHz dual core that has been waiting for a build like this. This is a Windsor core, 125 watt TDP chip with 1 megabyte of L2 cache per core, and it's a significant upgrade to the Sempron. It also supports 800 MHz DDR memory, so I'm installing 4 gigabytes of that. Alright, so like deja vu, this is the CPU Z info for this chip. 2 cores at 3 GHz, should seem like night and day. Alright, so we got HW monitor up, and we're going to run Cinebench to see how warm she gets. I still have the original stock cooler that was on the Sempron on here. So I expect temperatures to be higher, and find out if I have to swap the cooler or not. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get Cinebench started here, and then, you know, like last time, I'll go ahead and just skip to the end. Alright, we're just about done. And this was significantly quicker, and as you can see, the score was quite a bit better. But, you know, what we really want to check is the temperatures. And you can see, you know, temps peaked out in the 60s, so that's really not too shabby. I think I'm just going to keep this cooler installed here. I really expect to have to swap it out, but obviously it's not necessary. So what benchmark wouldn't be complete without running R15? It's like one of the commandments or some shit. I'll get R15 started here, and we'll just skip to the end again. Alright, so we got Cinebench R15 score of 128, so pretty good. And you can see how much better that was than the Sempron. Alright, so that's enough dicking around with that. Let's get back to the games. Stalker, same settings as before. Seems to be holding 60 FPS and quite a bit smoother too. It's actually, you know, quite nice to play in here now. There's still a lot of GPU to use. I notice the GPU usage is quite a bit, you know, right now it's at, you know, in the 20% range, 20-some percent. Alright, so since there's so much GPU left to use, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to crank up some of the settings on here. We'll crank up our graphics details and draw distance, and see if we can still maintain 60 FPS. And we'll have to do a quick restart here. And just like that, we're back. Alright, well, we got a little bit more GPU usage, but you can see the CPU usage on Core 1 anyways has gone up a bit, but we're still maintaining 60 FPS. and it's still nice and smooth. So yeah, that's a win. Alright, back into Fear, and wow, what a difference. I mean, frame rates are still staying well above 60, they're mostly over 100, and we have good GPU usage now too. This is definitely another win. As you can see, the paranormal effects aren't even stopping it, so it still maintains above 60 FPS even with the effects popping up. Alright, Far Cry, and wow, this is way better now. I mean, it's so much easier to aim, excellent frame rate. Now, if you lock this at 60 FPS, this would be one hell of a good time. I could really play the crap out of this game on this PC now. Alright, so I might as well try Far Cry 2 again. And it doesn't seem to fare as well. I kind of expected a little bit more from Far Cry 2 on this CPU, but the original game maybe ran better on XP on a build like this, you know, but this may be, you know, I mean, this is obviously remastered for widescreen and higher resolution and to run on Windows 10, and Windows 10 might be too much of a performance hit on top of it. I don't know, but it just definitely doesn't seem very playable, so we're going to scratch this one off the list. And Flat Out will of course run great on here. Like I said before, this will run on anything, but you know, I tested on the Sempron, so I'm going to test it on here, and yeah. I mean, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna stay locked at 60 FPS with no problems whatsoever. But no matter how good it runs, it obviously can't make up for my keyboard driving. If you guys have never played the Flat Out games, you should really check them out. GOG.com. Or if you want something newer, you can go on Steam and check out Wreckfest. Wreckfest is basically a modern version of the Flat Out games. Alright, and we'll finish up with the big one again, Crysis. And as you can see, it's significantly better. I mean, it's playable, it's smooth. You know, a little stutter here and there, but it is Crysis. It's not 60 FPS, but like I said, it is Crysis. And I think this game came out after this hardware anyways. But, you know, the thing is, it's definitely playable. I mean, this is way better than the PC I had when Crysis came out. So, I mean, yeah, this is pretty fun now. And looking at the GPU usage, I mean, I could probably crank some of the settings up higher than what they are too. I think everything's still in low. Yeah, Crysis would be a good time on this PC. Alright, so also tested but not shown here were the Tomb Raider games, the 3 Tomb Raider trilogy games from I think 06, 07, and 08. They were extremely playable. Half-Life 2 and Fallout 3 all were excellent, very playable. CSGO was playable, but it was a little laggy. Batman Arkham Asylum, that was fine to play too. I would show you the Steam and Epic stores working, but I have no Ethernet cable where I'm set up for recording this, so I really can't connect them right now. And here's a quick shot of the hardware, so you can see it's definitely XP era hardware. And if you're wondering about the operating system or the way it looks, this is Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC with Defender and a few other things disabled, with a Windows XP theme pack and start button skin. So, I mean, it looks retro. You can see it's all XP era hardware and an XP era Dell, but with a modern OS to use Steam and some of the remastered games and other game stores like that. Features like widescreen support, 1440p support, that you wouldn't get with XP. So anyways, I hope someone finds this interesting, and if you want to see more of this PC, let me know, and I can, I can probably do days worth of videos on this PC now. So you guys stay warm, and we'll see you on the next one.